I'm Leo Taylor. I'm an actor. And I've been an actor for over 50 years. I was a bit of a wild person. And I got sort of put on the straight and narrow. We had a little old lady who was the English teacher. And she said, "Have you ever thought about becoming a short story writer?" And I was quite sort of, whoop, no. And I started doodling poetry. And it was very interesting, absurdist poetry, I was told. And then I got to uni and I was doing English and I got into Yeats and people like that, and I started to write poetry, and then it gradually became short stories and monologues and skits, and over 25 years I've been working on one play. I went to pick up this lady. She was going to audition for a play. I went along and they pulled me out of the audience. They said, "Would you read?" I read. They said, "You're in the play." It was such a nerve-wracking experience. I swore to God I would never, ever, ever get on stage again. And they asked me to come back, and I told them to no. And I started driving a cab, and I used to pick up actors and people from Channel 9 and Channel 7 in Sydney, and they kept saying, "You've got a good face, a good voice, why don't you be an actor?" And I used to get very rude. And finally I did. I auditioned for a theatre school, and I got in, and I won the award for Best Actor in first year.
One man's trash, another man's treasure. Well, maybe trash is not the right word.
Theatre's been around forever. It's one of the most compelling ways of telling a story. It's one of the most intriguing and interesting ways of sort of holding up the mirror, as Hamlet said. It has to be around in some form or other. The need to create and to express is out there, and it's very, very strong. Whether it takes the form of film, or whether it takes audio, or whether it takes live theatre, that need to create and express will always be there. It's part of being a human, I think. I look on an audience as a very large animal with a lot of eyes and a lot of, senses going, and you learn as an actor. You get a sense of where the warmth and where the cold and where the cool, and your job is to bring them all up. So you concentrate a little bit of work on the cool areas till they're brought in, and then you tone the others down a little bit. You measure your performance by the sort of, I'm not going to use the word psychic, psychic. You get a sense of what the audience are doing, how they're relating to what you're doing. And so as a professional, you learn over the years how to modulate your performance. Be honest with yourself. I mentioned I've been working on a play. I was never happy with it. I was never content. I was never thinking to myself, well, that's it. Even this morning I was taking out one word in a sentence because it wasn't perfect. You keep working at something like that, and in a broader sense, your life has to be a bit like that. You can get frustrated if you see something. If you see a vision in what you've written, you can see it working, you understand what it's all about, but nobody else can. That can become very frustrating because you start to doubt yourself. You start saying, shit, am I any good? I mean, is this worth it? Is it going to do anything? And then I look at it again and I think about it. I make a few changes and I say, yep, it does. It is worth doing. It does say something. If I start something and you don't say, today I'm going to write a play. You don't do that. You're having a coffee and you think, look at that funny looking person. Yeah, dear ugly, yes. And you write something. And then because you've got that something there, and if it's halfway decent, you want to make it better. So your motivation is to make it as good as you can. I've learned a lot about writing by simply doing the same piece over and over again. And the satisfaction is that we all need a bit of relevance in our lives. We're all looking for relevance, and the older you get, the harder it is to feel that you are relevant. So you have to keep going, bang, I'm still here, hey, I'm alive, hey, hear me?
So painful, he began to cry. He peeled and peeled and cried, but whenever he wanted to stop, the old woman would shake her head and say, no, not yet. You haven't gone far enough. And finally, he peeled off the last layer, and all that was left was a little puddle of tears. And then, my friends, the sun shone, the puddle became a cloud, and the wind blew it away.